I guess the first question is the easiest one. Why do you want to do this?
Because somebody needs to do it. Because I think I've been seeing how this party has been devastated in the last few elections, and it's very difficult for me to understand why that's happening, given how our state is demographically populated. How large the Hispanic population is, how large the Asian American, African American population, how many people out there that fall within our natural constituency, and it makes no sense that we're, for example, in the Texas legislature, they have 101 seats or 102 seats in the state house. Doesn't make any sense that we can't win an election, and the consequences when you lose are incredible. And what you have seen in the state of Texas is that the people that are getting elected today are being driven by a fringe right-wing part of the Republican Party, and their policies are very damaging to most Texans, particularly, the constituency of the Democratic Party. They're anti-immigrant. To a large extent, it translates into anti-Hispanic. Their positions on voting are just, to me, as undemocratic, as unconstitutional as you can be. I mean, these are people, as I mentioned, they dress in a Tea Party outfit, but at the same time, they're depriving you of your most fundamental right, which is the right to vote.
I mean, what is it that the Republicans are doing right and the Democrats are doing wrong? Because the Democrats, have not won since, as you know, since '94.
A lot of things. The Republicans, they understand that the fight is with your base. That if you energize your base, that if you get them to go out and vote, and if your base is solidified in the general election, that base, even though it's smaller than our base, will get their candidates elected. They feed red meat to their base every day. Why else did Rick Perry, for example, determined that there were certain emergency measures that needed to be enacted first that had nothing to do with the $23 billion deficit that the state was facing, but rather they were all issues that dealt with his base. The voter ID bill, the anti-immigrant legislation, the issue with respect to the sonogram bill. All those things that he promoted at the very beginning were focused just to energize his base, because he knew those are the folks that he needed to depend upon in election time. We need to do the same thing. I mean, when your philosophy is to bring back those people that you lost when Ann Richards lost in 1994, and that you got to start talking like a moderate Republican to do that, then how do you energize your base? How does your base get excited and motivated and engaged to go out there and do the things that need to be done to get the votes out? It doesn't happen. They stay home because they don't see any difference between you and the other party. They don't think that you're the party that's going to deliver for them the things that they need to be able to lift up their families.
It's relatively easy, and it's probably because we just came out of a redistricting setup, but it's relatively easy in Texas right now to conflate race and politics. The Democratic Party tends to be where the minorities are. The Republican Party right now tends to be where the Anglos are. Is that the way the parties look, or is that sort of a momentary thing? I mean,
Well, I think that's what has been sold by the Republican Party to voters out there. I mean, the Republican Party is they're the 3G party: guns, gays, and God. I mean, and that's what they pound with their base constantly, and with Middle Texas as well. The people who could be voting Democrat because everything that we stand for is consistent with the issues that are important to them, to raise families in the state of Texas. Their interest should be with the Democratic Party, but because the Republican Party has been so effective in painting our party as nothing but anti-gun, pro-gay, lesbian, and anti-God, that people have begun to believe that.
The Republicans, partly because they've won elections for the last few years, seem to have a deeper bench than the Democrats. What do you do about that?
Well, I don't think that's true. I don't believe that they have a deeper bench. I think that if you look at the Republicans, for example, that are running for the state Senate, I mean, they're a joke.
For the U.S. Senate.
I'm sorry, for the U.S. Senate. When you see these people during debates, you know, they're espousing ideas and theories that are 30 years behind the times. You know, they're not very articulate, half of them. They have a difficult time giving a vision for America that is consistent with the vision of most Americans, and I believe that if we had a stronger Democratic Party than we have right now, that any one of those persons would have a difficult time beating our candidates.
But you set up a situation where you have these Republicans that you have issues with, and you have a saddler available to voters, and the party doesn't seem to back the candidate that they have. I mean, just
well, I'm not the chairperson yet, okay? So,
I just wonder if that says something about the condition of the party, or it says something about the condition of the candidates, or what is that?
I think it says everything about the condition of the party, okay? I believe that in a different environment, the Paul Sadlers of the world would shine in terms of an ability to raise money and the ability to be able to develop a strong, passionate following that people like Ann Richards or Jim Maddox or, you know, John Sharp had, you know, in the heydays of the Democratic Party. These folks like Paul Sadler, you know, can do really well if they have a party supporting them.